Hi, this is David Bedford and welcome back to another slice of Quarrymen and Beatles history. Today we're looking at a very important date, the 12th of July 1958. This is when the Quarrymen made their very first record. Now, this was a special place. One of the reasons the Beatles had to go to London in '63 was that there were no recording facilities anywhere in Liverpool. The only thing they could do was go and see a man called Percy Phillips. Percy was a great guy. He'd had a store in Liverpool city centre. He then decided to turn his house into a shop and a recording studio. So what had happened was his son was on a recording course and had learnt about this equipment, portable equipment where you could record onto tape and then from tape onto a disc, or you could record straight to the disc. So this was one of his business ideas. As well as fixing radios and all kinds of other electrical equipment, he could make records. So he advertised, and there it was, 1955, he did his very first recording. As it was the only place in Liverpool where you could make a record, of course this came to the Quarrymen's attention, and they thought, why don't we get our money together and let's go and make a record. So they wandered down to Percy Phillips' place, which was 38 Kensington, and today this is what it looks like. It's just a normal house, but back then it looked like a shop front. Now what he'd done was initially he put the equipment in the basement, but it was a bit too damp and it just didn't work, so he turned the back room of his house into the studio. He put soundproofing on the walls, like with blankets. The equipment was in one corner, and from all the guys can remember is there was one microphone hanging from the ceiling. So up turn the 5 Quarrymen. So this was John, Paul and George, with Colin Hanton, the original drummer, and John Duflo, one of Paul's school friends who occasionally played piano with the Quarrymen. So the 5 of them turn up, 17 shillings in the end. With 5 of them, that's 75 pence the equivalent. Now if they'd paid an extra shilling, an extra 5 pence each, paid a whole pound, they could have recorded straight to tape and then could have made a master disc from the tape and then made other copies if they wanted. But no, they just had enough to make the one disc and record straight to the disc. The 2 songs they recorded, That'll Be the Day by their hero Buddy Holly, of course, and an original song, In Spite of All the Danger. Now on the record that they got, Paul wrote McCartney Harrison. Now from what we understand, it was Paul's song, but because George had contributed his little bits of guitar solos, Paul gave him a credit. So the first original Beatles song, if it were, ever recorded was McCartney Harrison. So what happened with the record? So it's just the one disc, and what they would do is they'd take it in turns, they'd pass it around themselves. It went to friends. One of Colin's friends, Charlie Roberts, who took the famous photo of the Quarrymen in Rosebery Street, he had it for a while. He took it to work, played it over the PA in work. So this got passed around and then it sort of disappeared. Many years later, John Duflo found it in his house. When initially he said, I'm going to sell it, Paul McCartney actually stepped in and said, no, you can't. Now, we don't know what exactly went on, but Paul paid an undisclosed amount to buy the record. The lads, as Colin says, got their 17 shillings and sixpence back, and a little bit more. Paul then, of course, was collecting everything to go on the Beatles anthology, so that's when we finally got to hear this record. So, thankfully, the record survived, and this is Colin talking about his memories of the day and the Quarrymen performing In Spite of All the Danger.
In 1958, the Quarrymen was John, Paul, George and myself, and the lads found out that Percy Phillips Studios was operating in Kensington, so they decided if you club together, if we paid 3 shillings and 6 pence, we could make a disc.
Yeah, we have to say this is Kensington, Liverpool, not Kensington, Kensington. All right.
No, we're not that posh. So, 12th of July, we all turned up at Percy Phillips Studios. We cut a record, acetate. That would be the day which was one of our favourites, Buddy Holly on one side, and a song that Paul had written, in spite of all the danger, it was angry. It's nice to see Colin Hall here from Lips. Hello, Colin.
Hello, Carl. Long time no see.
And we recorded the record. So when it came out on the anthology, when it was Apple told me up and said that because you contributed to making the record, you were entitled to a share. So they got me 3 and 6 back plus interest.
So our next song, strangely enough, will be in spite of all the danger. Now lads, I want you to do it in ordinary tempo, normal tempo. I want the crowd, just play it. I want the crowd to join in, okay?
You mean the audience?
You know what I mean?
Would you like to give us the tempo now so we won't mess it up?
In spite of all the danger.
You mean slow? Right, okay. Right.
That's what I said. Spite of all the danger, spite of all that may be, I'll do anything for you, anything you want to do to me. Spite of all the heartache you made for me, I'll do anything for you, anything you want me to. Cause I'll look after you like I've never done before. I'll leave all the others, and I'm knocking at your door. Spite of all the danger, I know that maybe I'll do anything for you, anything you want me to. Give it to me. I'll do anything for you, anything you want me to. If you'll be true to me.
Never mind. Are we happy birthday or do you want to sit down?
Anybody else?